Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Chase Glenn from the Alliance for Full Acceptance, and I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance for Full Acceptance. And we are here today doing a live stream conversation about mindfulness in uncertain times. And we're going to take a few moments here just to give folks a chance to join. If you are joining in, if you do see this on Facebook, please feel free to share the link so that we can get even more people on board to share in this resource. And so I'm going to take a moment and just pause and allow people to join in. If you're joining us today, we have a couple guests who will be coming on screen. We have Eric Sullivan from Proud Counseling and Kennae Miller from Transformation Yoga. And we're excited to be able to hear from them and, allow them to share sort of their experiences and how they are living in these times. So we're going to, like I said, pause for just a moment here, allow people the opportunity to join. Again, share our live stream here with folks so we can get more people in the mix. If you'd like, I think there's a watch party function that folks can host a watch party, and that would be a great way to help us get the word out. And again, we'll just pause for a moment here and allow people to join. I'm practicing my own advice here. I'm going to go onto my personal Facebook and share at this moment so that we can I can share this out to my page. If you go onto your page, just so you know, if you go onto our page and you see the live stream right underneath there, it says start a watch party. You can click that button. It's pretty simple. It gives you an opportunity to share that out to your page, your personal page, and it'll be a great way to spread the word about this video. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, I'm going to make sure that my phone is not giving me volume while I'm sharing a watch party. um, and we appreciate everyone who's able to join us today. Again, my name is Chase Glenn. I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance for Full Acceptance. AFA is a Charleston-based LGBTQ advocacy organization. We've been around since 1998. Our work really centers around education and advocacy. So we want to help create conversation and amplify conversation and dialogue around the issues affecting LGBTQ folks. And we use that awareness to help make change and create change in our community through policymakers and helping to get greater protections in place. We do some work with businesses to educate on how to create workplaces that are more welcoming and affirming to LGBTQ folks. And that's just a little bit of what we do. And here we are today, sort of experimenting with a new medium. We're doing some virtual conversations in a time that has caused us to have to do life differently. I think a lot of folks have are experiencing the need to have to sort of shift how they do things, whether it's wearing a mask when you go out in public, or working from home, or watching kids and homeschooling and working from home, and sort of having to navigate sort of some uncharted territory. Um, we are all having to sort of navigate this in a way that we've, never had to do before, never, maybe some things we've never done before. So that's what today is about, is helping us sort of gain the tools and the information to help us sort of take better care of ourselves, and give ourselves space to experience this however we need to experience it, but also, to help sort of increase our, sort of ability to be centered and grounded as we're going through these times of uncertainty. So again, my name is Chase Glenn. I use he, him pronouns, and here with the Alliance for Full Acceptance. And we have a couple guests who are going to join us, and I'm going to go ahead and invite them onto the screen right now. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Here we go. Hey, I think all three of you are on screen now. Again, my name is Chase Glenn. I have today Eric Sullivan from Proud Counseling joining us. Eric is right in the middle of the screen, and then Kennae Miller from Transformation Yoga. I'm so excited that y'all were able to join us today. Want to give you a chance to introduce yourselves. Kennae, you want to go first?
Hi, I'm Kennae Miller. My pronouns I use are she, her, hers. I am the proud owner of Transformation Yoga, and I'm honored to be here today with AFA, or Alliance for Full Acceptance, and Eric.
We're so glad to have you. Eric, go ahead.
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Eric Sullivan. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a licensed mental health therapist, and my practice is Proud Counseling, and it specializes in LGBTQ plus mental health.
Awesome. Thank you all both again for being here. I'm so grateful that you're offering your time up to us to share sort of your expertise and your experience. Eric, let's kick this off. First, let me say this. We have some folks that are joining us. Looks like we have 27 people so far joining, and that's awesome. We want to interact with folks here as much as possible. So, feel free to go ahead and comment. How are you working through this time? How are you taking care of yourself? What are some of the things you're doing for yourself personally, or your family, or your chosen family, whoever you're sharing time with and space with right now, to help sort of, just stay grounded and centered? Feel free to share that in the comments and share with us. Also, if you have questions, things that are coming up for you, we'll have a chance to share those at the end, and maybe, engage with Kennae and Eric a little bit and get their thoughts on things. But also, if you want to throw those questions into the comments now, feel free to do that as well. All right. With that, I'm going to head over here to Eric. Talk to us about self-care. How can we help stay centered and grounded in this time?
Yes. So I'm going to present 10 self-care tips. There is a handout if y'all want to follow along as I go. So what I'll do is I'll kind of present the tip, give some information about it. And at the end, I'm going to give everybody an actionable step that they can take towards meeting this goal. So this is something that you can do today, you can do later in the week. You can kind of just add it to your running to-do list. So let's get right into it. So if you're looking at the handout, the very first one is to maintain a sense of routine. This is really important right now because all of our routines have gotten shaken up and we're not able to kind of do the usual schedule that we would. A lot of us are working from home who aren't used to doing that. Some people aren't working at all and they're kind of at home and not sure what to do with their time. So the more that you can kind of maintain a schedule right now, the better that that's going to serve you. So some of the ways that you can do that are waking up in the morning and going to bed at night around the same usual times that you would. Now, I know a lot of us are kind of relishing that we can sleep in a little bit later, we can stay up a little bit later than we typically would. And that's okay, but try to kind of stick to those general times that you would. And if you are working from home, also try to stick to that usual work schedule. So kind of like, what do you do in the morning? What's your usual ritual? Do you kind of have your cup of coffee, check your emails, check your news, still do all of those things that you normally would, still take a lunch break at the same time you normally would. And this is really important too. Make sure you're ending the workday around when you normally would. Some people that are working from home that aren't used to doing that, it's a different kind of way to end the workday because you're still in the same space that you're going to be once you decide that day is done. But it's important to kind of set that boundary for yourself and say, okay, it's 6 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock, whenever that normally is for you, I'm going to end the workday now. Another thing that we can all be doing right now is getting dressed, at least some days. Now, I know like a lot of us are really excited. They're like, I'm working from home. I don't have to interface with other people. I can just wear my pajamas. This is awesome. And that's cool. You can do that. Just make sure every once in a while you are still putting on real clothes. It gives you kind of that sense of normalcy. It gives you that sense of like going into the workday or the office or wherever that would normally be. So, actionable step for this first one is just to simply create a schedule for your day tomorrow. You can do this on like a traditional calendar. You can do this on your phone calendar. I know for some people that have children, they're kind of using like a whiteboard kind of calendar to help keep the kids on some kind of a schedule. So all you need to do for now is just to create your schedule for tomorrow. What is that going to look like? Tip number 2 is to limit your media engagement right now. So, it's really hard to escape any coverage of the pandemic. It's all over social media. It's in every headline that we're seeing. Paying attention to the news and being prepared, there's a healthy level of anxiety that can come with that because it does help us to kind of follow the precautions and know what's going on and know the latest updates. If we're engaging too much with those outlets, it's actually feeding anxiety that we're going to have about the pandemic. So you want to make sure that you're being intentional about the times that you are choosing to engage in social media and to be checking the news right now. So one kind of tip, and this is your actionable step for this one, is when you find yourself wanting to reach for your device and to check social media or to check the news or to check your email, before you actually do that, check in with yourself first and say, okay, I'm reaching for my phone. I can tell that I feel like getting on Instagram right now. I feel like checking the news right now. Is now a good time for me to be doing that? Am I in the right headspace to do that? Or do I actually want to take this time to do something else right now that's going to help me to relax? So the next time that you find yourself wanting to check your phone or your media device, just simply check in with yourself first to make sure it's a good time to do that. All right. Tip number 3 is to be connecting virtually to people right now. Now, this seems to be one that a lot of people are doing and engaging in. FaceTiming, texting, phone calls with loved ones, support people from work that you're not seeing regularly anymore. Keep doing that. One kind of way to mix this up, if you haven't done it yet, is you can go through the contact list on your phone and kind of look for the people where it's like, oh, wow, I haven't talked to them in so long. I haven't talked to them in years. I'm going to reach out to them. And you can, do this in so many different ways. A simple way to do it is just to simply shoot someone a text and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking about you and I hope that you're doing well. One kind of encouragement with this, I think a lot of people are defaulting to referencing the pandemic when they do that. So sometimes I'm getting messages from people I haven't talked to in a while and they're like, hey, I hope you're doing well with the pandemic. I know this is so crazy right now. My encouragement is no need to include that bit about the pandemic because, like I said, we want to limit the amount of times that we're talking about it. And also it's kind of a way to respect a boundary for that person that you're sending the message to, because you don't know what kind of space they're in. They may be engaging in a self-care activity. Their mind might be so far away from the pandemic, and then all of a sudden they get that message and it kind of snaps them right back into that. So no need to include that, but go ahead and still be reaching out to people.
Eric.
Yes.
Hey, this is Chase. Can I just jump in here?
Please do.
And say, well, I'm trying to add myself into the view. You might just have to listen to me. I'm a voice from outside, just stepping in. But I wanted to just take a pause and just see, how are other folks, resonating with this? Does this resonate at all? Kennae, would you have anything you'd like to add to that? I'm putting you on the spot. No pressure.
I would second Eric's sentiment as far as disconnecting from media, for sure, and not referencing the pandemic out of respect and boundaries for others, and also recognizing as you check in with yourself and you do check in with other folks, it is okay to not check in with folks that you have had previous trauma with. And you're not obligated to, because of this pandemic, to engage with folks too that aren't the best for your well-being either. So, yeah.
I think that's a really good piece of sort of, I hate to say advice, but I've reached out to some folks, in lining up some different programs that we want to offer online, and I've had a couple of people say, you know what, I'm just personally not in the space right now to be able to do that. And I think, when you're thinking about boundaries, I so appreciated that, because I wouldn't want someone to feel like, I'm asking them to put themselves out in a way that they're not comfortable to do currently. And so that's really good. Feel the agency to be able to say, I can't talk about this. This is not something that is, I'm not in the space right now to do that. That's huge. Being able to take that sort of ownership and create those boundaries. It's really important. Go ahead, Eric. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had thoughts and wanted to see if others did too.
No, I'm glad you did. And guys, keep chiming in. I like it. I want to hear the feedback for sure. So just my kind of tip for this one, an actionable step that we can all take today for this, is to simply kind of give some consideration to who is that next person that you want to reach out to. You don't even have to actually do it yet, but just kind of have that in the forefront of your mind. That way, when you are in a space to want to do that, if you've got some downtime, okay, I'm kind of bored right now, maybe I'll reach out to someone like, oh yeah, I wanted to reach out to so-and-so. Tip number 4 is to go outside daily. This is really important. We're all kind of like confined within these 4 walls of our homes right now. And it's really important to be going outside, getting some fresh air, getting some sunshine. If you have a private outdoor space in your house that you can do, that's amazing. Make sure to be utilizing that. If not, just simply go outside and go for a walk around the block. If you live like in an apartment complex, you can just walk around the property. This is something that I've been kind of incorporating into my daily routine. I absolutely love it. At the end of the workday, I just go outside and I just walk around for a little bit. And it's kind of interesting. I'm seeing the same people from my apartment complex going on these walks at the same time, which is kind of fun. And I'm still kind of building community and connections during that time from a distance. We all respect that boundary, but it's still okay to kind of say hello and give a wave to someone. So my tip for this one more thing actually is still go outside even on the days where you don't really feel like you need to. So like for me, I've had those days during this time where I wrap up the workday and I'm like, okay, it's about dinner time. I don't really feel the need to go outside. Maybe I'll just make dinner and kind of chill out for the night. But I just push through that and I say, just go outside anyway, even on the days you don't feel like it. So a good kind of tip for this.
Oh, sorry, I just interjected myself into your thing. I was just wanted to say I think the whole going outside thing is really important and really huge. And you're going to tell us apparently a tip on how to do that, and so I'm going to back away now quietly. But I just wanted to say, yeah, I thought that's huge, and it's been a really big thing for me. Is taking my son out on a walk every morning and just taking a few minutes to get outside and breathe some fresh air.
Yeah, totally. And like some of the people that I am working with right now aren't doing that. And that's, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And what I'm kind of hearing from the ones that aren't doing it is that they're not feeling the need to do it, but I'm still trying to encourage them, still do it anyway. You're going to get the benefits from it, even if you don't kind of feel inclined to be doing it. The tip to help with that is to take a pair of shoes and put them by the front door and keep them there during this entire time. Because many of us, like right now, being from home and like working from home, we're barefoot a lot of the times. And so like for me, I just like look over at the front door, I see that pair of shoes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go outside.
That's a good tip. I like that one.
Yeah. And it's also a reminder too, just kind of having that visual cue for this and for all of these different things that I'm going to talk about. If it's out, it's kind of like a way that you're setting a reminder for yourself. Tip number 5 is to journal. Journaling is certainly a pretty kind of common therapeutic intervention and recommendation, regardless of what's going on. It's just a way for us to get our thoughts and feelings out, process what's going on, get the things that are swirling in our head, get them out and put them to paper and just kind of get that release. This is also really helpful because emotional awareness and taking time during the day to check in and say like, how am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? What are these feelings causing me to do in response? If we take that time, whether or not the feelings are positive or negative, that practice helps to regulate our mood. Because again, we're actually processing how we're feeling. We're not just kind of shoving it down and not working through it. Also, I think once this is all passed, this could be kind of like a neat little time capsule. If you're journaling during this time, even years down the road, to be able to look back and be like, man, that was like a really strange time. What was that like for me? You'll have this kind of reference to be able to go back. I also think that is going to help people to feel motivated once we're back to normal life. Like right now, when we don't have access to the outside world, many of us are kind of like thinking about the things that we want to do once we're able to do them again. Sometimes when that time actually comes and we have that time and we have those opportunities, that motivation's maybe not to the same level. So looking back on this reference of journaling could be a way to like remind ourselves like, oh yeah, that was really hard. Gosh, when I was back during that time, I wanted to be able to do X, Y, Z so badly, and now's my time, and I need to capitalize on that. So my tip for journaling is just to start off, all you need to do is choose the medium that you're most likely to journal with or that you would like to journal with. So like, is this a notebook? Is this like a traditional pen and paper journal? Are you going to do this on your phone? Are you going to do this on your computer? All you need to do right now is just decide what's the way that's going to work best for you. An added little bonus is if you can take that medium and put it out somewhere where you're going to see it in a space where you're going to feel comfortable sitting down and journaling.
I was just going to say that is resonating with folks out there. We got someone who said, "Oh, journaling, it's a cool way to think about it." Is there anyone else resonating with that? I'm personally, I will say, not a big journaler. I have started and not finished many journals, and maybe that's actually part of the problem. Is I think of it as something like I need to finish, whatever that means, and maybe just giving myself permission to just write whenever it feels, right to write, but not feeling like I have to finish some book or really do it perfectly. I might just be a perfectionist. I don't know. Anyone else? Kennae, you have anything to add to that, or are you a journaler?
I am a journaler. I live by journals, multiple for different things. But I agree. I love it as not only a time capsule and way to keep record, but a good way to really connect with your emotions and feelings, and sometimes process them in a way that's not harmful for yourself or others, like contacting someone that you normally wouldn't contact, or maybe even processing what's happening for you and those emotions that are arising, and knowing that it's not really anyone's fault, but you still get to express those things and get them out. So I definitely agree with journaling. Love journals.
Maybe I need to try to pick it back up. Who knew?
Yeah, that's my that's a personal challenge to you from me is like, try it out. Now is this time where we can do those things where we're like, I'm not really a journaler, or it hasn't really stuck in the past. Like, try it out.
Okay, you've sold me on it. I'm going to try it out.
And also, if you are feeling stuck, if you're like, I don't know what to write about, I don't even know where to start, just start with the phrase, I'm feeling. Identify the emotion and go from there.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's really helpful. A little prompt to get me started. Yep. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. All right, cool. Tip number 6, at-home exercise. This one is really important. Physical exercise is just really important for our mood regardless. I'm going to quote Elle Woods here from Legally Blonde. Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't kill their husbands. They just don't. So just remember, exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins keep your mood regulated and it keeps you feeling good. No need to get overly complicate this one. It can be really simple. It doesn't have to be rigorous. You don't have to kind of, put too many limits on yourself about what it has to look like. You can get on YouTube, you can get on Google and search at-home exercises. There's so many things out there. There's so many resources, especially right now. While everyone's not able to go out to the gym, people are really kind of putting out some creative ideas to get this workout in. Bonus, if you're going outside and going for a jog, going for a run, because again, that's going to get you that fresh air, that time outside of the house. My kind of tip for this one, and I use this one for myself all the time, is I'll put a reminder in my phone, and the reminder is not workout. The reminder is put on gym clothes, put on workout clothes. We're taking small steps here. If we take that small step, if we put on those workout clothes, we're way more likely to then say, all right, I've already got this on. What the heck? I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to get on YouTube and just see what's out there that maybe I'll want to try today. Little caveat to that is so workout clothes can also double as lounge clothes. So if you're already in workout clothes, but you've been in them all day and you've been laying on the couch watching Netflix, put on a different outfit, put on a different set of workout clothes. It's going to kind of change that mindset into, okay, cool, I'm no longer lounging. It's now time to do a workout. All right. Tip number 7 is positive self-talk. There's a lot of different ways we can be doing this right now. I'm going to give you some different examples. Basically, we want to be kind to ourselves right now. These are not normal circumstances. We're not going to be our best selves right now, and we need to give ourselves some grace, and we need to cut ourselves some slack. One of the ways that you can do this is what we call in therapy a grounding statement. A grounding statement is just a succinct kind of mantra to yourself that just reminds you that right here, right now, everything's okay. When we're having anxiety, when we're feeling anxious, we are either thinking back to the past about things that have already happened, or we're tripping out about the future, the what ifs. The what could happen. That's what a lot of us are doing right now, the what ifs, what's going to happen. The grounding statement is a way to pull you back into the present. I encourage you to do a Google search, grounding statements. You'll get a list of like 20 or 30 different ones, and you can kind of find the ones that you relate to, identify with. You can try out some different ones, but I'll give you some too, in case you want to use those. It's really helpful to start with your own first name out loud. We're really connected to our names. Saying them to ourselves kind of like triggers our mind to take a pause and connect it with our body. It can feel a little silly at first, and that's okay. That can actually make it being a little more lighthearted can help too. So, Eric, in this moment, you are safe. In this moment, you are calm. In this moment, everything's okay. My personal favorite for myself, and you're welcome to borrow it and use it if you like it, is everything's cool. It's just a little mantra to myself that reminds me that, like, whatever else is going on right now, everything's okay and everything's cool. Now, we all had an opportunity to practice this yesterday when we had some tech difficulties with our talk that was originally scheduled for yesterday, and it didn't end up working out. And it was a really cool kind of like in vivo way to practice this stuff because so initially when the technology wasn't working and when we were on a delay and it was like 12:05, oh my gosh, we were supposed to start at 12. At first, I felt myself getting anxious, like felt my heart beating faster. I felt myself getting a little nervous. I found myself kind of, straightening up all of the things on my desk. And I realized, okay, I'm feeling really anxious right now because this feels out of control. This isn't how we planned for things to happen. And it was really cool to just kind of check in with myself and practice it and just say, hey, you know what? Everything's fine. Like, yes, this isn't how we envisioned it to be.
Can I chime in on this? This was yesterday pushed all of my perfectionist buttons and are not being able to go live when we want to go live, and I felt like you really helped me sort of think about try to get refocused. I also had another friend who said, you know what, if the Today Show can struggle with technical difficulties, AFA can have some technical difficulties on your live stream. It's okay. Like, everyone is more understanding of that right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Kennae, do you have any mantras that you use to help you sort of get through tough moments?
I don't know if I would say any mantras. I would definitely say this is not the first time this has happened, and extend myself grace and compassion, and hopefully that whoever you're engaging with or meeting with will also be able to do the same, but also not really taking, for me, what I would say a victim stance. Instead of saying, oh gosh, sorry, I'm so late, or sorry, I'm running behind, just thanking them instead and being like, thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for being patient with me. And it kind of changes that and still makes it positive to where you both are, it's more of an opportunity versus an obligation. So that's what I would say.
That's really good. That's good. I like that. All right. Eric.
I like you, and I like your background. that's pretty, that tapestry.
It is. It's cool.
So also right now, we can be practicing self-compassion. And here's a tip. One of the ways that we can do this is, like, when you find yourself beating yourself up, or if you're like being hard on yourself for something you did that you wish you didn't do, or something that you didn't do that you were planning to, add on to the end of the statement, and that's okay. Instead of like, oh man, I had planned to go on a run yesterday and I didn't do it. And like, man, I'm so lazy. I'm not meeting my goals. I'm not doing this quarantine thing right. Don't go there. Don't do that to yourself. Instead, it's like, okay, I didn't go on that run that I was planning to do yesterday, and that's okay. And the more you practice it, just even for the littlest things right now, it really does help to kind of remind ourselves that, like, we're all doing our best and that's all that we need to do right now. So I'm going to check in with Chase and Kennae. I'm going to challenge you all right here, right now. If you can think about something that you didn't do that you wish you did, or something that you did do that you don't feel so good about, maybe even earlier today, yesterday, and state what that is and add on, and that's okay.
You really are putting us on the spot. Kennae, do you want to go first?
Sure. I did not do a CrossFit workout this morning, and that is okay.
No, go ahead. Please continue.
So, that's kind of been one of my statements these days, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what Eric said to me yesterday. All this was happening. Use this, and that's okay at the end. And really, for me, I'm being redundant now, but it's, I thought I had all the technology lined up yesterday, and I restarted my computer and apparently lost everything that I thought I had organized, and we weren't able to go live, and that's okay.
Totally.
Feels pretty good.
Good. Good. It felt good for me too yesterday, even to get to say that to you. Like this didn't go as we planned, and that's okay. It's like it's helpful sometimes to say that to other people too, because sometimes we're our own worst critic, and it can be hard to remember in those moments when we're really activated. Sometimes it's harder to kind of call upon these tools. So for those out there, quarantining with other people, kind of help your support system right now when they're being hard on themselves. You can give them that reminder that it's okay.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah. All right, cool. Tip number 8 is to complete a to-do task. When we're productive, it gives us a sense of achievement. It also helps to boost our mood, makes us feel good about ourselves, boosts our confidence. I think we all probably have kind of those running things that we've been meaning to do, and we kind of say like, oh, when I have the time, I'll get to that. Well, right now we all have a lot of time and a lot of time around the house. And so maybe it's like a chore around the house, organizing your closet, cleaning out your clothes that you can then donate once we're able to do that. Whatever that is. For right now, all that I'm going to ask everyone to do is just to simply identify a to-do task for themselves. You don't need to do it. You just need to know that it's the next time that you have some time or you're bored or you want something to do, that is the thing that you will do. No pressure, but Chase and Kennae, do you have one that you want to share?
Oh boy. Why don't you continue? Unless Kennae, you want to chime in?
Man, I don't really have a to-do task. I'm practicing more being present and choosing not to be productive in whatever ways that used to look like. I call myself a recovering type A personality, so production is everything. And so I'm trying my very best to do the opposite these days, to not worry about the to-do list or, 2 weeks ago I said I was going to accomplish this and get this, and this done, and really holding on to that. And that's okay that 2 weeks later it still isn't done. So I don't have one. I have to think. I threw the list out. There's no instructions for this time, so I'm not going to go with any.
Yeah, I like that. And I was going to say, don't go with any. Now that you've said that and your perspective on it, yes, go with that. If that's like liberating for you to not be worrying about the to-do right now, then absolutely go with that.
And I'll say
okay.
that, for me, I have found the challenge with my to-do list is it usually requires like going to a store to get something. I, have a house. We have a lot of, little projects around the house, and it seems like every single one involves probably a trip to Lowe's. And so I'm not choosing to do those right now. But I have picked up, I usually garden to some extent, and that has been, I had the foresight to go out and buy plants before and seeds before this happened. And so I was able to, get in there. And that has been sort of my to-do because I want to do that. And I want to have, hopefully, cross your fingers, some vegetables at some point this year. So that I've made that my to-do, although it sounds like it's just a hobby, but I mean, it is, but it's a positive, fun to-do.
Totally. It's a self-care hobby. That sounds great.
Yep.
All righty. Tip number 9 is to practice gratitude. This is super, super, super important right now, is to actually be taking the time, dedicating some time to thinking about the things that we do appreciate in our lives, the things that are going well for us. And this might sound a little counterintuitive, but even to spend some time thinking about why we're grateful for our current circumstances that the pandemic have caused. if we do that, it helps kind of, it builds resiliency. We're going to be able to kind of not only get through this time, but get through it stronger. It's also going to help to prevent social comparison. If you're focusing on yourself and what's going well, you're less likely to be, like, for example, I'm hearing from a lot of the people that I work with are getting hard on themselves because they're like, I'm going on Facebook and like everyone's posting about like all this cool stuff they're doing, and oh my gosh, they're so happy they get to spend all this time with their kids, and they're just like totally crushing the quarantine game, and it's making me feel bad, like I'm not doing enough or I'm not doing it right. So if you're actually focusing on what you are doing well and what you're appreciative of right now, you're going to be less likely to make that comparison to other people. My kind of recommendation is to create an ongoing note for yourself about things I'm grateful for. For me, I do this on my phone. So I just do it like, the note app on my phone. And I just have things I'm grateful for. And it's just a running list that I've had for a long time. And anytime something new pops up, I go on and I add it on there. And while I'm there, I just use that as a time to go down the entire list and to kind of reflect on those things. You can do that. You can do this on pen and paper. There's tons of apps out there, free apps on your phone that are kind of like daily gratitude practices. One is called Presently. It's a free app. It's really basic. You just go on and kind of like what we were talking about with the journaling, it will give you some different prompts if you're stuck. So it can give you kind of some specific things in your life that you can tailor gratitude toward. And so to start, my action step encouragement for everyone is all you need to do to start is either get out your phone or a piece of paper and start a note that says things I'm grateful for. You can even do that right now if you want. Anything y'all want to share about that or add to?
Keep on going. And unless Kennae, I don't want to stop you unless you had something you were gonna say. I think we're gonna keep on going.
Great. All right, last one. Tip number 10 is to engage in video therapy. This is something that I've been doing for some time, even pre-pandemic. I've been doing video therapy. I love it. It's a great way to connect, to get some support, to get some feedback, to make some progress on some of the goals that you have for yourself. You're getting a little preview of it. This is how I meet with the clients that I work with, just like this, just like we're talking now. If you are already seeing a therapist, chances are they're likely transitioned to video right now, so you might be already kind of getting to see what this is like. If you're out there and you're like, I've never seen a therapist, I've always wanted to, I'm really curious about it, now is a great time to kind of to try it and see what that's like. Now, oftentimes when people reach out to me and I start working with them, they'll say, I've wanted to do therapy for so long, and it was really hard for me to take the step to actually start it. And usually I say, that's okay. That's actually really normal. It's difficult to start anything new for the first time, especially something unknown like therapy. Like, oh my gosh, what's it going to be like? I don't know. So my encouragement is just to start. It's not anything that you have to commit to long term. You can try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, then there's no obligation to continue. What I encourage everyone to do just to start, here's the starting spot, is to go onto a website called psychologytoday.com. This is a therapist directory. It's the #1 way that people get plugged into a therapist. You can go on there. You can search your area. You can filter the different things that you want to work on. If you're a member of the queer community, you can designate that there as well. And then you'll get a list of the providers that match your criteria. Check out their profiles. And my encouragement is just have a general idea of like, ooh, I think I want to work with that person, or I think I maybe would want to work with that person. That way, if the time comes where you feel like, okay, cool, I want to try this out, I want to take that step, you've already done all the legwork and you'll know who that person is. Bonus actionable step if you actually reach out to that person and just say, I'm interested in therapy. Can you give me some more information? All right. We made it through the self-care tips. Thank you all for hanging in there and participating with that. I'm going to transition. We're going to go on to the next portion of the talk. We're going to hear from Kennae.
Yes. Well, I'm going to be on screen for just a moment here. I want to thank you, Eric, for all of that information. It's so good. And I want to pause just for a moment. And Kennae, I'm going to put you on screen here too. That's my heads up for you. Thinking about, just like I said, just pause for a moment. I'm thinking about, people that are out there. And I had a comment on my little watch party screen over here. Someone who said, can you ask about, just address the stress of the situation? I think, a lot of what we talked about is really positive and good, and self-care it's important to think about, getting outside and creating an environment, or hobbies, to-do lists, all these things, and creating an environment where we can feel more positive. But then taking a step back from that, the reality of this situation, the pandemic, the self-quarantining, the social distancing, all the different things that have come along with that. A lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of people who are now watching their kids, and so they aren't able to go to their jobs. Just the reality of the situation for a lot of folks is really scary and stressful. Not sure how to make rent, not sure about sort of, the food stamps process, unemployment, all of this sort of stuff that's just compounding and really hard for a lot of people. And so I want to just pause and think about, the stress of that. What are some, all of these things absolutely can be applied to that. But I think some people may just be feeling overwhelmed to the point that they can't even, think about, oh yeah, I need to go out and exercise. They're thinking, I've got to figure out how to pay my rent so I don't get evicted from this house. What can we offer up to folks who are feeling especially, the situation is especially critical? Either of you want to chime in on that?
I will. So what I would offer up to anyone in this present moment that finds themselves in a lot of stress is to feel all of that. Journaling, like Eric suggested, is great, but definitely don't try to move past it, and don't try to suppress it. A lot of times we do that, and I think outwardly we manifest as a society things like alcoholism, things like addictions, because we try to force that stress to go somewhere else and to move beyond it and suppress it. So definitely for anyone that is feeling stress, I would say feel all of those things and give yourself permission to even be present in that moment. When we choose to be present in the moment, it does not mean that that moment is always going to be comfortable for us. And that is the reality, that as these situations continue to unfold, as we go day to day and new information is released, or we find out new things that could benefit us or could not benefit, that could cause harm. Different levels of stress can occur. Different emotions are going to arise. So one day we may feel overwhelmed and the next day we may be completely happy. And give yourself the permission to not judge whether it's good or bad, but just feel all of that. And then process it in the way that you feel you need best for you, whether that is journaling, whether that is saying, it's okay, I'm not doing anything today, whether it is to take that energy and to maybe paint something and create something with it. But know that stress is very valid too. We're humans, we're living a human experience. And so if you're not experiencing any stress, then I'd probably be more alerted and alarmed versus if you felt something. Because although we are collectively going through what is happening, we're all experiencing this in different ways. Some people are revisiting trauma. Some people are revisiting feelings of food scarcity. And to acknowledge those things doesn't mean you're giving it power. It just is the reality of it. So moving, allowing yourself to have those emotions allows you to eventually move through it and not ignore it or suppress it, causing further harm.
That's huge. Yeah. Eric, anything you'd like to add to that?
No, very well said. Can't put it better than that.
That's good. That's good. So Kennae, talk to us more. I believe you have, a guided meditation. I don't even know, is that what you would call this? Or do you have a better, I keep calling it guided meditation, that there may be a better term for this. How would you, and I want to just hand it over to you and allow you to share some more about what you all do at Transformation Yoga, and how you're moving through this experience, and then lead us in however you would like to lead us in this moment.
Okay, thank you. Again, my name is Kennae. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the owner of Transformation Yoga, which is definitely an honor. We're a collective group of yogis, hopefully growing soon. And what we do is we come from a framework of anti-oppression, anti-racism, and we use those to use the tools of yoga and meditation towards liberation and collective healing for everyone. And so I would definitely call this time a guided meditation. And also acknowledge that for a lot of people, meditation sounds kind of spooky. It sounds like something that's really hard and really difficult. And a lot of that is due to marketing. I know for myself, I came into yoga because I used to joke when I did gymnastics that I would be able to levitate. I haven't got there yet after all these years, but meditation is just a really great practice that anyone can do anywhere. It's really when you just draw all of your focus into one thing. So a lot of times that does look like sitting down or laying down, and other times that looks like washing dishes, because even while you're washing dishes, you're focused on getting those dishes cleaned. If you're in the garden, you tending to the soil is like a meditation because you're focused on that one thing. One of my favorite meditations to do in this moment is to actually volunteer at Fresh Future Farm and to pull weeds, listening to a podcast. I don't know what has become so therapeutic about pulling weeds and then being able to look back and see all of those weeds gone, but you and that connection to getting your hands busy and being in the soil. So meditation it doesn't have to look very, it doesn't have to look anything that's not normal or comfortable for you. And so today I do want to guide everyone through a meditation. And so if it's available to you, if you're comfortable with it, I want to invite you that are watching to either take a position where you're laying down or sit back into your chair. So I'll give you a couple moments to get situated. So again, you can either lay down, you can sit back in a chair, but whatever it is, start to take a position of ease. And by position of ease, that invitation means we're not really trying to engage any muscles. We're not looking for any fitness. We're not trying to work the core here. Just giving yourself permission to surrender. So even if that's leaning back into the chair, if it's available to you, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And by softening your gaze, I mean turn your eyes down so that you're not focusing or staring at any one thing super hard. If you are seated, we do have a tendency to cross the legs, whether at the ankles or the knees. And I want to invite you to place your feet solely on the ground so that both feet are nice and flat if you're seated. If you're laying down, again, you want to make sure you're in a comfortable position, whether that's one side or completely on your back. So again, if it is comfortable for you, wherever you are, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And then take your left hand and place it in your heart space. Take that right hand and bring it to the belly. So right here, we are not trying to control the breath. We're not trying to control any thoughts. Allow them to come and to go. And start to take notice of all of the things surrounding you. So whether you're seated in a chair or lying down on the floor, start to notice the connection between your spine and your chair or the floor, maybe even a bed. You can start to notice the walls that are surrounding you, or even if you're outside in nature. Start to draw awareness to the things that you're hearing. So that could be birds chirping. It could be a neighbor working on their grass. It could be a child in the background laughing. It could be music or a TV playing. Just begin to observe what you hear. Now slowly begin to draw awareness to your body and start noticing what it is that you feel. So whether you feel a gentle breeze across the skin, whether you feel little hairs standing up. Next, begin to draw your awareness to your breath. So notice how the breath is moving in and out of the body. If it's available to you, take deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. So pausing in this moment to recognize that we have the opportunity to become and be and return to being present. So many times as we move throughout our regular days, whether from work, second work, shifting, visiting friends, going out, we tend to shorten our breath. So we take very shallow breaths, and this is an opportunity that as you're getting present, to take those deep breaths in through the nose. Allow the lungs to expand, fill the belly if that's available to you. And then exhale, releasing it all out. So that in this moment, even as you're breathing, you're practicing being counterculture. Now continue to breathe in this way and start to draw awareness right behind your heart space. So knowing that although you are experiencing this individually, we are also here collectively. As you're breathing in through the nose, know that just like the air moving around us outside, we are connected. Notice that even behind the hand, as you feel your heartbeat, there's so many other hearts that are beating in this same very moment. Pausing in this moment and staying connected to the breath, know that being present in the moment is a gift. And this is a gift and opportunity that we may otherwise not have taken for ourselves. We can acknowledge that the reality of our society is to stay busy and to be productive. And there's a strong emphasis on doing instead of being. And this has given each of us the opportunity to be. We want to draw awareness and acknowledge that for so many people, this very moment is another experience of trauma. And that for some, this is not okay. What is happening around us is not new. Know that for some of us, feelings of scarcity or lack are trauma-inducing. And know that for others of us that have never been in this situation before, fear and being scared are also okay. Give yourself permission in this very moment to feel whatever it is without any judgment. Whether good or bad, it just is. And allow yourself to be present with whatever those emotions are. Wherever you are, start to draw your awareness to your mind and imagine walking yourself to the front door. As you open that front door, you step out. As you step out, start to observe the earth underneath your feet. Start to feel the dew from the early morning grass around the ankles. Feel the warmth from the core of the earth underneath the soles of your feet. Almost as if you're being charged. Feel the spine lengthen as you grow taller towards the sky. Begin to feel the sun off in the distance, but shining on your skin. Begin to notice the gentle breeze gliding against your skin, surrounding you. Begin to take in the sound of the birds chirping in the distance. Begin to taste the fresh air as you inhale and exhale. And know that in this moment, you are not alone. You are connected with nature. You are connected with others in this experience. So know that in any moment, whenever you need to return to being present, you can always connect with the breath, your heart, and nature. And then wherever you are, slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe draw the palms of your hands together and start to rub them, just generating some heat. Once you find the hands are warm enough, bring the hands to the eyes and cup them over the eyes. Slowly begin to blink the eyes open, coming back into the space. And then once you're ready, remove the hands from the eyes. So I want to thank you and welcome you back into this space. I want to pause for a moment to allow everyone to just be present again in this moment, whether you would like to journal now, if you feel like drawing something in this moment, if you have questions you'd like to put into the chat. Chase, of course, you can always jump in. Eric, if you have anything to share.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was just beautiful. And for me, I just felt, just some weight lifting that I probably didn't even realize was there, which I think is particularly interesting. I think I was living with some anxiety in my chest that I didn't even realize I had been carrying. So it's something that I'm just grateful for that moment. So thank you so much for leading that. And for me, I'm grateful that we also have recorded this. So that means I can come back and listen to that and go through that guided meditation again at another point. Eric, did you want to add anything?
Sure, yeah. Thank you, Kennae. That was so wonderful. That was a really nice kind of pause for me. And like, I think after, giving the presentation, my jitters were up a little bit, my anxiety was up a little bit. I could kind of feel it in my body. I'm just getting the opportunity to kind of pause and check in with that was really nice. And like my energy feels a lot calmer now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Well, on that, I'm going to honor folks' time and thank everyone for joining us. Um, it for me, it's both. I feel so lucky and grateful that I have people like Kennae and Eric who are willing to come and share their experiences and their knowledge and their wisdom with us. I'm also grateful that we get to share this time with you all out there who are participating online. As I just mentioned, we've recorded this, so it will be on Facebook and our videos, but also we'll put it out there on YouTube. And you can access our YouTube channel through our website. So it's affa-sc.org and then slash live stream hyphen video or videos. Now I'm questioning what that URL is, but if you go to our website under resources, you can look for video library and it'll be there. Coming up next week, we are planning another live stream virtual conversation. This one will be around advocacy and just being able to know in this moment, as we've talked about today, many in our community are really struggling. And when you talk about the LGBTQ community in particular, who is already vulnerable, when going through times like this, uh, we are oftentimes the first line of folks that get hit. When you're talking about marginalized communities, there are multiple marginalized communities who are being greatly affected by this crisis. And so advocacy and learning how to advocate on behalf of our community and on behalf of ourselves is an important skill. And so we'll be discussing that with Phil Ford online next Wednesday, April 15th. And we're also organizing, I'm putting together, we've got just we don't have the exact time and date set yet, but we'll be putting it out soon, parenting in a pandemic and talking about, the skills, your parenting skills are probably being stretched and put to the test right now. I know having a 16-month-old in the house full time while also trying to work, both my wife and I trying to work, has been a challenge for us. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what folks are saying about parenting in general. So we'll be sharing more of that information out on our Facebook. Feel free to comment. Here we'll be obviously coming back and checking the comments. You can send us a message. If there are topics you'd like to see us cover here from different types of people in different fields, please let us know. We want to be responsive. The whole reason we're doing these programs is because we're hearing from our community what their needs are and what people are longing for in this moment. So we're trying to be responsive to that. So if there are things you want to hear, please let us know. I want to thank Eric and Kennae again. Thank y'all so much for being here, for sharing. Is there anything you all both would like to add before we go?
No. I would say thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Well, thank you again. And thanks to everyone for joining us. We will be signing off, but I hope you'll join us next time Thank you all so much. Please take care.